I'm going to copy a Rubens, and I'm just going to copy the middle figure because I think it's like this is a complex scene. But I like the pose of the middle figure. It's very, very subtle, and I like the angle of the shoulders. So I'm going to start with that for that reason. I want to get that angle. It's like diagonal. It's very subtle. They're almost straight. It's easy to screw it up. And then so I want to get, the arm. I'm gesturing it there. And when you look close, that face, the angle of the face I try to get there with the brow, it's very, very subtle. You pretty much have to zoom in to see what's going on there. And the ear, it's so nicely done. I mean, this guy's good. I'm making a joke there. It's Rubens. He's a Baroque master. And initially, I drew the head a little bit small. The hair was kind of small, so I'm now correcting that and adding some of the shading that indicates volume on the hair. And there's some kind of bead there that's tying that last knot, but it's hard to make out. So, also I'm not trying to spend like forever on this sketch. I mean, I think I'm speeding it up now, but basically I think it took about 12 minutes at most because it's just a single figure. And then something I'm noticing here on the arm, there's a lot of blur. And it's hard to tell, but I'm actually now beginning to hold my pencil from really far away. You can kind of see it. And I'll come back to that in a second because I don't want you guys to miss the angle of the negative space happening between the arm and the waist. It's important to get that negative space correct because the angle of the negative space and everything, that will inform the lean, because she's got this lean, on that left arm and kind of the shoulders back. So, and then there's subtle shape happening with the hip bones there. So you could see I had indicated that on the left hand side, and I was shaping the cheek a little bit. Okay, and then the hand, I'm kind of just fudging it there, but it's actually, the hand really hangs low. It's like very, very low. In fact, I think I got it around the right place, but it almost feels like mine might be even higher than his because he really drew that hand really low. Oh, so to get back to, you see the way I'm holding the pencil? Earlier on, I even held it farther away, like toward the back end of the pencil. And it's funny because I feel like sometimes when I'm copying a painting in pencil, I channel the application that the artist might have used. I mean, it's hard to tell, and I'm just kind of guessing. But Rubens seems like one of these painters to me, the way the brushstrokes are when you look up close. He strikes me as one of these painters where he might have had a lot of distance on the painting, meaning that he might have like stood up straight with his arm extended and the paint brush held at the very end of the the wood. Oh, here's my favorite part. Okay, so I use the pencil on its side to create that hard edge, and then I bring in the shade, and that's my favorite part, the spine there. because it's very, very subtle. There's so much nuance. I think in this pencil drawing, that's what makes it, that spine. And then there's interesting hard shadow right there at the shoulder and where it meets the shoulder blade. And then, light kind of curves around to highlight the edge of her waist on the right-hand side. So, so he strikes me as somebody that like really kind of stood up straight, held the stick of the brush like by the very end, and really had a lot of distance on the painting and the way he was painting, because some of those lines really look very kind of dabbed, but not dabbed in the same way like Rembrandt dabs, because Rembrandt is kind of a messier dabber. Like Rubens is kind of like almost rounded and fluffy, the way he plays with the oil paint on the canvas, it feels like. So I'm getting that feel, but I'm holding the pencil for the most part in a regular way, but very high up than I would if I was doing detail, because it's a gestural copy to some extent. And perhaps that's what Rubens is doing in a lot of his paintings too. He's most of all trying to capture the gestures. And perhaps it could be on purpose. I haven't read all the interviews with him like that might be available, or writings that he might have done, but perhaps it might be on purpose that he kept the edges of his figures blurry to give motion to the whole thing. So that could be a part of it, because they do feel like they're moving. They're beautiful figures, and they're kind of her arms are kind of thick like a Michelangelo. He's known for very thick women. Yeah, so the spine is still my favorite part of my drawing. It's a fun analysis. I'd love to come back to draw more of Rubens and study him more. So yeah, hope you had fun, and try it yourself. And if you have any questions about my drawing, let me know.